Hello my friend, welcome to my channel. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. So today we're going to be talking about the most powerful way to retrain the subconscious mind to get what you want. So if that sounds like your thing, like and subscribe and let's get going. So one of the things that we work with in Kundalini Yoga, which is a science, an energy science that I teach, is releasing subconscious patterning and becoming conscious, raising our awareness. So let's talk very quickly about what the subconscious is and how it's actually running the show. You've probably heard this little quote by Carl Jung, which goes, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." That's because the subconscious, or much of our life, is run on this automatic, reactory, stored patterns that we aren't really consciously aware of. And so let's quickly talk about how those subconscious patterns are stored in the psyche. Nearly 95% of our mind is made up of automatic reactory patterns, these stored patterns of protection, of memory and beliefs and ways of doing things, etc. from the past. We've stored this in our psyche. It's taking up 95% of our psyche and it runs the show. Until we make these unconscious automatic reactory patterns of behavior that sort of program our life or direct our life, until we make them conscious and we recognize where they are directing our life, then they're going to run our life. And we want to be the main character in our life, right? So the psyche stores these unconscious automatic patterns of behavior that we just move through until we make them conscious and we recognize them and we can become aware of them. The subconscious is also stored in the body somatically. It's not just in the mind, it's also stored in the body, in the fascia, in the subtle body as well, so in our energy body and in the chakras, and it starts to create this sort of density in the body, right? So old memory, unprocessed old memory, unconscious, automatic patterns and habits, memory that basically runs the show until we start to become the observer of those patterns. Now, I want to talk about 3 ways today that you can start to reprogram the subconscious mind and body to get what you want. And what it means by get what you want is because, you know, our soul, our truest authentic nature or state, if you like, has a lovely, delicious path to walk along in this existence of life that we're very blessed to be part of. And these subconscious patterns, all of this stuff that we sort of naturally hold on to sort of protect us in the body and in the mind, this starts to cloud our path. And it also starts to run the show. So we are no longer the author of our own life. We're like the little character that's a sub-character. We're not the main character of our life. And everybody wants to be the main character of the life, right? If you can't be the main character of your own life, what can you be? So what we're trying to do is work with recognizing these old subconscious or unconscious patterns of behavior so that we can observe them and rewrite them if needed. So I'm going to talk about the 3 things that need to be done really to be able to become the observer of these patterns and to rewire them to get what we want in life, to become the main player, top dog in our own life, which is important, right? So the first way in which we would start to become aware of these subconscious patterns is we need to start to release them energetically, yeah? So because the body somatically holds all of this patterning, all of this behavioral conditioning and stuff that we've kept as nervous system patterns, energy patterns, and in the psyche, etc., emotional patterns. We need to learn how to actually move that energy because everything is energy at its core. So we need to learn how to actually move that energy first and foremost. So we can work with practices that specifically work with conscious breath and movement. Any form of yoga practice, energy practices, Tai Chi, Qigong, walking even, any conscious movement. What's conscious movement? Conscious movement is where we are actually really consciously with the breath interacting with that movement and breath in the moment. What that will do is it will draw our energy back into the moment, and it will clear our energy field, and it will clear this stuck and stagnant unconscious patterning that's held somatically and in the psyche. Okay, so actually starting to get the body moving consciously releases the threads of subconscious that are running the show. It releases it specifically from the body, first and foremost, in an energetic sense. If you to think about the body almost like an instrument. If we are about to play the guitar, before we play the guitar, we would sort of tune it up a little bit, Otherwise it's going to be all when we tune up the guitar. I don't know anything to do with tuning up a guitar, but I've seen them doing it. Okay, so they tune up the guitar and then it plays really nicely. Prior to that, the strings are all rusty and full of debris and stuff like that. If we think about our body and our systems like an instrument, when we work with breath and movement consciously, what we start to do is we start to tune up the instrument so it can work in harmony. And that comes with releasing some of that debris from the different areas of the body. So breath and movement, conscious breath and movement in the moment where we're really connecting to the breath and the movement, moving through time and space in the moment, is a fantastic way to start to tune up the instrument. So that's how we can start to release some of this unconscious patterning, this protective patterning, this reactory patterning that's just running the show unless we make it conscious. You can release it from the physical body through these breath movement practices. Now, when we work with these breath movement practices, something that we activate that's in Kundalini Yoga, which is the science of energy that I teach, is called the fourth body of consciousness. And the fourth body of consciousness is the neutral mind. And I want to talk quickly about the neutral mind. The neutral mind is a space inside of ourselves that is what I like to call the witness or the observer of life. And from that space is where we have gone above or beneath or behind the subconscious patternings that are running the show in the psyche and in the body. We've taken a step back from those unconscious behaviours, those automatic behaviours, and we've come to a space of what I call the ultimate Zen master. We've come to a space of neutrality. We've come to a space of non-judgment. We've come to a space where we can actually observe these patterns, not judge them, not try and force them away, not try to get rid of them, not try to think that we're horrible humans because of it. Just observe. Now, it's that awareness of observation that helps us to shift or just essentially not let the automatic patterns run the show, and instead we've taken the driver's seat. Okay, so this is what we call the fourth body of light in Kundalini Yoga. You might want to call it the neutral mind. You might want to call it the observer's space, the witness. You might have experienced this before in your life, this space where you're actually witnessing your thoughts instead of being them or becoming them or just getting very caught up in the rubble, or you're witnessing your emotions instead of reacting with these unconscious patternings, that we're talking about, this subconscious state. You're witnessing the world around you as opposed to becoming very, very affected by everything everybody's doing and saying and all of the different opinions. You've taken this very neutral space. Maybe it's related to your higher self. Okay, and I call it the Zen master because it's a very calm, it's a very observant, it's a very non-judgmental, non-reactory space inside of ourselves. And that is the place in which we start to watch and observe the subconscious patterns, and therefore we can become the change. We can become the person who starts to actually take the reins. So I'm going to give a little exercise that's going to be fantastic for actually starting to activate the neutral mind. First and foremost, the first thing that we talked about is this breath and movement. Breath and movement, conscious breath and movement, is such a powerful way to bring your awareness back into the present moment. And it's that present moment observation that's really about the neutral mind. When we're present and we're not reacting from the past or worrying about the future, and we're a little bit more sort of concentrated in being here, this is where the neutral mind really takes place. It's this observant of life as it's unfolding. Now, breath and movement, what they do is they bring you back into that present moment. After you've done that conscious breath and movement, if you take a moment to sit and be still and just breathe, you'll probably notice this stillness, this silence, this non-reactory space beneath all of the noise, all of the old conditionings and patterns and automatic behavior that we're moving through life with. You'll be able to take this more centered, neutral, observant space. And that comes from this bringing us back into the present moment through breath and movement. Two of the best ways to bring you back into the body, back into the moment. And just finding that moment of stillness, you'll start to recognize, oh, yes, there's a neutral space in here and it doesn't feel cluttered, it feels spacious. And that's the fourth body of consciousness, the neutral mind. And from that space, we can observe those patterns and we can choose a new one. But it's very, very hard to choose a new pattern and to direct our life, to become the author of our life, if we are overrun by all of that subconscious clutter. Now, breath and movement, bring yourself into the stillness space, become the observer. Another way to do this is a little meditation that I like to do, which is like a higher self meditation. I visualize myself in a traffic jam, stuck in a traffic jam, in a car, behind the wheel, and there's a traffic jam all around me, cluttered. And I sit and I close my eyes and I sort of visualize myself in that space. And with the breath, I take myself onto a little hill, sort of visualize my body moving on into a little hill above the traffic. So I evacuate the car, come onto a little hill in the countryside and watch the traffic. And so my body's on the hill, my car's still in the traffic jam with all of the traffic, and they're beeping and they're swearing and they're having an awful time, right? And I am now sitting on a hill in the countryside, just observing. I'm not part of it. I'm not beeping and swearing and cursing and reacting. I'm just looking at it from a distance. That's the neutral mind in play. Being able to separate yourself from the noise, not get rid of the noise, separate yourself from the noise, find space, so that when you become the observer, you found more of a bird's eye view. No wonder you feel, no more do you feel so attacked by all of that programming. So that's a nice little visualization technique. You can just do it for a minute or so. That allows you to activate that very neutral space. So that's the neutral space inside of us. It's the observer's mind. It's not the reactory mind. It's not part of the show. It's the one sitting in the audience with a bit of popcorn going, okay, yeah, I can see that point. I can see that thought. I can see that emotion, but I'm not becoming them. I'm not forming a huge narrative around them. So that is the second thing. Once we've done sort of breath and movement, we've brought that into our day-to-day life very consciously. That's going to teach us how to come back into presence. From the present moment, we want to start to learn how to activate the neutral mind. The neutral mind is the space of awareness that allows us to observe our patterns, observe these automatic patterns of preservation that our body is just trying to keep us safe with, but they are running the show, right? We can observe them, and therefore we can change them. We can learn how to create new patterns. Yeah? Why have we created these old patterns? Because we've repeated them over and over and over and over again, because we haven't made them conscious. They're unconscious. And unconscious things repeat over and over and over and over again until there's a glitch in the matrix and you go, ooh, bloody hell, just been repeating that really weird pattern throughout my day and it's made me angry, it's made me tense, it's made me this. We have to find that pattern breaker, which is the neutral headspace. So we've gone into the neutral mind. Then guess what? Because we are not so cluttered, we have found space. We've started to think more clearly, and then we can change. So just like we formed a pattern from being unconscious, yeah, we formed a pattern because we've repeated it so long, and the nervous system likes familiar patterns. Yeah, the psyche likes these familiar patterns. The body likes familiar patterns. Everything likes familiar patterns. It's just trying to figure life out in that way. When we've put a glitch in the matrix by coming back to the neutral mind, we can then start to create a new familiar pattern. It might be uncomfortable at first, of course. Anything new is. But then the nervous system gets used to it and then it becomes a familiar pattern. Give you an example. Let's say I spent most of my life speaking unkindly to myself in the mirror. Oh, I don't like this bit and I don't like this bit. This is my reality in the past because I had body dysmorphia. So I'm speaking from a clear example of my own personal experience. Don't like this, this isn't right, or I can't go out the house. This very uncomfortable feeling in my own skin. That pattern will just continuously replay until you take yourself onto the little hill, away from the traffic jam, become neutral, observe and go, is this mine to keep? Do I really need this to run the show? Could I change? Could I choose something new? And that choice comes. We can't just make a new choice, right? Because our body and everything and our mind, like you say, it's stuck in these old patterns. And a new choice doesn't feel safe. So we have to teach ourselves how to come back into the neutral space. That neutral space, we can make a new choice because it's very, very neutral. It's not attached to anything. Then I can change that pattern and go, okay, let's teach the nervous system and the psyche and out my emotional body and physical body and energy body how to change the tune, how to change the mantra. So start to go in the mirror and go, actually, I'm fine today. I'm good. I'm beautiful. My creator made me exactly how they wanted to. Therefore, I also can be happy with that. And just repeating this new patterning and that reinforcement of new patterning that you've chosen, that's not unconscious. It's not running the show. You've chosen. When you start to bring all that new patterning into your daily life, it starts to affect your work. It affects your relationships. It affects how you feel about yourself. It affects your progress. It affects your purpose. It affects how you feel about yourself in general. Everything in life grows and expands in a more aligned way when you start to recognize the patterns, become the observer and change the patterns and keep working with repeating that new pattern because you need to find the familiar patterning in the nervous system so the nervous system goes, oh, that's a pattern. We need to trick the systems, right? So there you have it. That's 3 ways in which you want to start to reprogram the subconscious mind if it's running the show. Get that breath and movement in, because it's going to declutter the body, the energetic body, and the patternings in the body, and the somatic holding. It's also going to bring you into the present moment, so it's easier to find that neutral mind, that Zen master, the observer, so you're not getting so involved. Just not judging, observing. You've found space. It's nice on the hill. And then you can start to go, because I've found space, I can now choose something new. So that is how you reprogram the subconscious mind, specifically from a yogic perspective, I would say. So lots of love to you all. I hope you like this video. Let me know in the comments, and thanks for being here. Ciao.